Hello and welcome to New Consciousness Activation. Hello, Louise. We welcome today Louise Mita. So, you are the CEO of Tao Energy, and you're the founder of Integrative Quantum Healing. Now, you're also a practitioner of martial arts and Eastern medicine. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and the phrase is integrative quantum medicine.
Integrative quantum medicine. Thank you.
Yes,
Um,
yes, thank you.
so I'm sure I've left out a lot of details to introduce you. So please go ahead and fill in anything that you'd like to add to just introduce yourself to our viewers.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, you did a wonderful job. Absolutely, that is who I am, and the work that I do basically is dealing with energy and empowering people, educating people, allowing people to discover the magnitude of the energy that we all have and have access to.
Wonderful. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. I want to really delve deeply into what is energy, why is it important, what does it mean to you, to us, everything energy. So
Okay.
let's start with that. What is you work with energy? So what is it that you work with?
Well, actually, everything is energy.
Right.
Everything from the sound of my voice to the thoughts in your head to this communication device that we have. Absolutely everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at um, us as people in relation to energy, what we want to do is tap into that source, this energy that is what we are comprised of. And to be able to master it, then we have some level of mastery of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at anything man-made, or when we look at anything man-made, we have to realize that it is actually thought energy first, and the physical manifestation of it is the end product. So, for example, this screen that you're looking into and I'm looking into,
Mm-hmm.
somebody figured out how to make this iPhone device here, and
Right.
it was simply someone's thought energy first.
Mm-hmm.
Then they drew the schematics on paper, and from there got the materials and got a production team together and created this magnificent piece of mechanics that is actually the result of one's thought energy. Just like the chair you're sitting in, just like the room you're in, the beautiful blouse you're wearing, um, everything around us, the sound of my voice,
Mm-hmm.
the air that I'm breathing, everything is energy. But anything that is man-made, again, is thought energy first and physical, the end product. So in looking at energy regarding people and ourselves, our health, our wellness, and our illness, it
Mm-hmm.
all is a result of our energy. When our energy is balanced, all is well. When it is not, that's where the problems begin. So looking at energy from that perspective allows us to get to the source rather than treating the symptoms, the end product.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm looking at health to illness, I basically address it in 5 steps.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in an energetic state of balance, basically nothing bothers you. You're healthy, people can be sick around you, and you're not going to catch a cold. Somebody can cut you off while you're driving and it doesn't even bother you. You're, oh, that's okay, you must be in a rush. And we make excuses for it, and we just get on with our day. If
Mm-hmm.
something comes along and creates an energetic imbalance, then things change. And what I mean by that is maybe you get an unexpected bill, or we hear something on the news that's disturbing. We find out political parties are doing what they're doing. Uh, basically something that comes along that sort of shakes your tree. And then there's this imbalance that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then step 3, there's a biological physical change that occurs. acids release from your stomach, or your veins constrict, or your heart starts racing. With all of this, then step 4 is we show symptoms. And the symptoms might be that we can't digest our food, we are unable to sleep at night, we have no energy in the day to function, we're nervous and agitated. So with all these symptoms, we need to have some release and relief. And we go to our doctors and we are prescribed something to take care of those symptoms, as is the job of our doctors. That is what they're supposed to do, is make that stuff go away. And we get something for our indigestion. We find a lovely pill we can take for that. There's medication to help us sleep at night. There's other medication to calm our nerves and reduce the anxiety and agitation. And so pretty much we're dealing with all those symptoms and we're able to get rid of that. But are we really addressing the source of that energetic imbalance?
Right.
If we can get to that, then there is nothing to support the physical malady, therefore the symptoms, and we get back to point 1 where we are in and out.
Okay.
That's my goal with this work.
Okay, I think we just lost you there for a minute. Can you say the last kind of sentence? So
Okay. Basically, that is the point of integrative quantum medicine and the type of energy work that I do and I teach. I want to be able to be in that energetic state of balance so that everything is okay.
Yes, sounds wonderful. So I want to go back to the implications of thinking about everything as energy. As you said, every single thing, including us, including the things we're dealing with, everything is energy. And the implications of that, for example, to our health. As you said, with medical, with the chemical medicine that we're using currently to heal ourselves, we're really treating the symptoms. So the implication to our health is then that truly all the healing really has to then take place at an energetic level. Mm-hmm. Is that mm-hmm. correct? And that's Absolutely. Really what balances out. Balances our state, and yes. That really then reduces or eliminates the symptom. So we're Absolutely. Kind of going backwards in terms of how we have been approaching healing.
Yes,
Would you
yes.
agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. Absolutely. So in looking at energy and what I teach, the perspective of understanding energy comes from Eastern philosophy. Mm-hmm. So from the East, from the Chinese philosophy of energy, we look at energy on 3 levels. First level energy is called Jing energy. Jing energy is the physical energies of the universe, the 5 elements: fire, earth, metal, water, wood. And those are the elements that are utilized or addressed in feng shui. Mm-hmm. These 5 elements are the basis of what feng shui is. And I'm sure most of your listeners have heard that term feng shui and know a bit about it. So Jing energy is also the physical energy of the invisible force of gravity upon us. Now, gravity, without it, we would be flying off into space. There'd be no relationship with the planets. There would be absolute chaos. The gravitational pull of the moon, the lunar gravitational pull, makes the tides rise and fall many meters twice a day. We have a high tide and a low tide twice a day. And I know it personally because I watch the tides because I surf. and that's what keeps my sanity. That's what keeps the energy balanced for me.
Right.
But indeed, the idea that we are comprised of, close to 90-something% water. We used to think it was 2/3 water, but we realize that there's water within the cells and outside of the cells. So we realize we're, in the upper 90% composition of water. So again, this gravitational pull of the moon, does that not affect us if it can affect the water planet that we live on? I'm sure many of us feel very different during a new moon versus a full moon. I know full moon, a lot of people's energies become exacerbated. So if you're in a good mood, you just feel fantastic. But if you're in a grouchy mood or a little angry or a little, low, that also becomes exacerbated. So in understanding energy, it's a good idea to watch the calendar. And when you see full moon coming, make sure you're in a good mood, because it does tend to affect us in that way. So this is another aspect of Jing energy. The solar nuclear power is another aspect of Jing energy, in the most obvious, in that when the sun is out, everybody's cheerful and peppy and feeling lovely. And when there's an absence of it, there's a great deal of a difference in our moods. In the Northern Hemisphere, there are many countries and areas where people experience what they call seasonal adjustment disorder syndrome, SADS, because there is no sun for such a long time and people become depressed. Suicide rates even rise. Medications are abundant to try to deal with this level of depression because of the absence of the sun, which is a Jing energy. Another aspect of Jing energy are these electromagnetic fields that are around us. This invisible field that we are living in is full of electromagnetic currents. There are positive and negative ions. When we're around mechanics and electronics and living in big cities, we're inundated with positive ions. And in this case, positive does not mean good versus negative, meaning bad, right? So when we are driving in our car, we don't realize how much of an influence the positive ions have on us. The road rage is not simply the traffic. We are just being bombarded with these positive ions. Negative ions, on the contrary, are soothing, relaxing. They make us feel good. And the abundance of negative ions is in water. Whether you are by the sea or by a lake or next to a jacuzzi or you take a shower, anytime you have water on you, near you, around you, you're being surrounded with these lovely negative ions that chill you out. So I feel it's crucial at the end of the day to have a shower, to have a bath, because it's not just the cleansing factor. It's this neutralizing aspect of the positive ions by the negative ions of the water that allow us to feel good. We get back to feeling our normal selves. So that's Jing energy. Okay, this is first level energy that I was referring to as far as the Chinese perspective of energy. Second level energy is called Qi, and that's the Chinese word. The Japanese word is Ki. In Hawaiian, we call it mana. The Indian Sanskrit word is prana. So we have many words for this energy, which is an invisible life force that is in everything. So it's in people, it's in plants, it's in animals, it's in inanimate objects. There is Qi in absolutely everything. And Qi, this second level invisible energy, life force that's in us, is 7 times more powerful than Jing. So this physical body is all Jing energy. This hair that's getting in my face, this is Jing energy. The Qi is what controls this physical body, 7 times more powerful than the physical. It is the Qi that keeps the physical, the Jing, alive and going, not the other way around.
Right.
And we all actually feel this Qi at different times in different ways. We utilize it, we have it available to us at will. For example, it just takes a little bit of Qi to pick up your telephone. It takes a little more chi to pick up your chair. It takes a whole lot of chi to pick up another person, but you can do it, and you produce that required chi at will anytime you need it. It's available to you.
Mm-hmm.
When we're feeling good, when we are feeling our best, our chi flows. Our chi is unimpeded and it flows through our body. We're happy, we're healthy, nothing phases us, we're all good, everything is good. When this chi is flowing, I liken it to water going through a garden hose. When that garden hose is straight, there's no bends or anything in it, that water will shoot out through the other end when you turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is something blocking that flow, for example, if the hose is bent or if there are little holes somewhere in the hose, then that water is not going to flow. Just like with us, if there's some blockage in us,
Right.
or if there is a weakness or a leak somewhere in our flow of chi, that's when illness takes place. If there's a blockage, that's when we have pain or we have growths. If there is that kind of a weakness, that's when we're tired. That's when we feel no energy to perform. So the idea is to unblock the blockages and let that chi flow. And that's essentially what I'm doing with integrative quantum medicine, which I call IQM. Okay, so that's second level energy, chi. And it's very emotionally driven. So when you're happy, your chi flows. When you're depressed and sad, your chi becomes very flatline. Sometimes you just don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
By absolute contrast, when you're angry, something can happen and it aggravates you, and all of a sudden you feel this excess of chi, and now your heart's pounding and your breathing changes and your eyes are bugging out, and oh my gosh, you want to slam a door, you want to throw something. Sometimes you break something because this chi, this energy, is controlling the physical, right?
Okay.
Not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
If this chi can control us like this, we want to control the chi.
Right.
Shen is third level energy, and Shen energy is 7 times more powerful than chi.
Mm-hmm.
And this makes it 49 times more powerful than Jing.
Mm.
Yeah, do the math, right? This Shen energy is mind energy. It is instinct. It is intuition. It's your knowing. Like the Shen energy that you had activated when you decided to put this project together. This is coming from a knowing, and knowing how much this project must entail as far as work and logistics and everything like that. But there's a knowing in you that understands how profound this is and how important this is, especially during these times. So it's your Shen energy that guided you to the different speakers on this. It's your Shen energy that knows the difference between 500 different choices, and you think, no, this one's the one, and that one's the one, and that one. It is your Shen energy. Our Shen energy is something that I'm sure you've had that experience of thinking of somebody out of the clear blue. Oh, I wonder how so-and-so's doing. And then the phone rings and it's them.
We have that thing with my mom. And
right.
She keeps telling me every time it happens, she says, this proves that I'm psychic. And I said, no, this proves we're connected.
Yeah.
Really, the minute it comes into my mind that I should call my mom, I know that she's thinking about me calling her.
You see, and that's Shen energy. That is Shen energy. And both of you are right. You are connected, and your mom is psychic. But then so are you, So this is that stuff too that doesn't have the logical explanation for it, but that's what energy is. It is so profound that our logical minds can't wrap themselves around it. That's why it's that knowing. And the knowing is, how did you know that this was something to do? You've had those times in life, right? Or I always say, you have a project you're going to do, and the first thought that comes into your mind, you think, well, I should do it this way. And because it's important, and because this is serious, you go, wait a minute, let me talk to people, let me go online, let me do all this research, and you do all that stuff, and you do it completely the opposite of what that first thought was.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's falling apart, you say to yourself, why didn't I listen to my first thought, right? And that's Shen. That is that Shen energy. And I know, that's how we recognize it, is because we're usually kicking ourselves saying, but I knew it. Why didn't I listen? So these 3 levels of energy, Jing, Qi, and Shen, are called the 3 treasures. And it is said that one who possesses the 3 treasures has everything.
Oh, yes.
So right? And my point is to teach people how to tap into this, because this Shen energy is the profound stuff. The Shen energy knows everything. In other words, you do know everything, and it's not the educated mind. It is not the intellectual mind. It is not the one with information. It is that knowing mind that will blurt something out, and you don't know why you said it, but you knew it, and you knew it was right, and it ends up proving itself right. Mm-hmm. So how do we tap into that magic of it? And there are ways. And that's the excitement of learning about this energy.
Wow. Well, oh my goodness. This is really beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm loving it. So, I love the word that I love that you use the word knowing, because I've always, I've always thought of myself as not being like I don't hear things, I don't see things, in terms of the sort of psychic abilities. I don't.
Right.
But I get the knowings, and I couldn't find a different way to explain it. And the knowing, it's sort of like the thought just all of a sudden pops into your head out of nowhere, and it's as though it's your own thought, but
yes.
It wasn't there a second ago,
Yeah.
And the more I pay attention to it, it's almost like somebody's sitting on my shoulder and just whispers into my head, and I kind of know now to acknowledge it. And guide, when I work with my clients, I kind of just listen to it, and whatever comes, I use it. In these conversations, I haven't said it before, but as I do these interviews, there have been a number of times that as I listen to somebody, this thought comes in, just ask this, or, and that's a beautiful, guidance that I receive, and I love that, you called it that, just the knowledge.
Yes, absolutely. And this is the key. This is the key piece to life. And Natalie, if you've got that, you are miles above everybody as far as having a clue. Truly. And here's the thing, you listen. The things that, like I said, we get these thoughts and then we ignore them. We just ignore them. That can't mean anything because that's me. We devalue the brightest aspect of us, our knowing, and that's another thing too. Sometimes I say, man, a lot of times we know better, but we do it anyway, whatever the situation might be, right? You know better, but you do it anyway, right? And that's how we undo ourselves. We undo ourselves that way. But
and
congratulations, though.
Well, thank you. And I think it's because we're so not used to seeing those 3 levels of energies. We're not used to really incorporating them into our existence, into that being a normal way of life. And that's what I'm really passionate about, is helping people understand that we are not this one body and this one little brain. I'm a systemic thinker. So when I see it all as this holographic quantum system that we're operating in. So I loved that first level of energy that you were describing there. If you think about it, the moon is affecting us, the sun is affecting us, you know, the
Yeah.
water is affecting us, the traffic is affecting us. We are not just an isolated little, you know,
Exactly.
person standing there. It's such a complex system
Yes. Yes.
that
Absolutely.
I think understanding that is really the step that we're making towards, you know, an evolutionary step. It's a huge step, I think, for us.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
And again, it's awareness and it's education. You know, from Western, you know, if we compare Western and Eastern thought, in both Western and Eastern, we nurture the physical body. We eat well, we exercise, we know what we need to do for the physical body to be healthy, get enough sleep, all those kinds of things, groom ourselves, etc.
mhm.
We know about stimulating the mind. We study, we take seminars, we read, we do things to educate ourselves, we take in information, learn all kinds of things. And so we educate the mind. And we know how to educate the spirit. There's many different religious walks that people can study and embrace whatever works for them. Meditation, yoga, things. I mean, there's so many things to nourish the spirit. We don't look at this chi, this internal life force, as an aspect of education. We don't think of it or even acknowledge that it exists. In English, we don't have a word for it. I mean, may the force be with you. You know, I mean, we don't even have a word. You know, so. But in many cultures they do, which is fascinating
Right.
because they acknowledge its existence. But it is as vital and potent to our wellness and our everything as any one of these other aspects, the mind, the body, the spirit. Yes, and the chi, this life force that is within us. So
Right.
in understanding it also, then, as you said, sometimes we think, you know, it's all about me. I'm this, oh, I'm having a bad day. It's me, you know, and blah, blah, blah. If you understand energy, suddenly you look up and you go, oh, wow, the moon is full. Oh, and no wonder everybody's raging. It's not that everybody hates me today. You know, it's not poor me today. It's not, you know, and suddenly you detach from the small thinking, and you do become one with the universe. You do look around and you smile, you laugh at it because it's ironic. We're all going through this. How interesting, right? When we have solar flares and we're bombarded with millions of tons of radiation on the planet, the only time we notice is my cell phone's not connecting. I can't get oh, look at this, my emails don't come through, you know. But we have no idea it's actually something that could influence us as well.
Right.
You know, so having that understanding is it's lovely. It makes you a small part of the big picture instead of you being the center of the world and, oh, woe is me.
Right. Absolutely. And you know, something that I've noticed with myself, it's not that you stop being necessarily sometimes upset or depressed or sad or whatever, but you begin to, I've noticed that I've been able to see myself, you know, if let's say I'm not feeling all perky and happy, it's not that, you know, where before I would have said, my God, I'm so depressed, let's say. Now I can say I'm going through this period of this energetic time, or this time of just not being really balanced, or not being happy, or not being in my full energy. And I know that when I get to the end of that tunnel, or the end of that period, then I'll be just fine. So it's separating yourself, and you can still experience it, but it puts it into a different framework. You know, it's a different perspective, and it really makes it easier to handle all these things.
Absolutely, absolutely, because we we don't suddenly become it. It's not I'm depressed or I'm
Exactly.
paranoid or I'm
Right.
this or that. It's not, I'm feeling this. I'm having one of these
Right.
days. You know, I mean, you step in dog poo, you are not dog poo. You just stepped in it and you're going to
Right.
get rid of it as fast as possible, you know. But
Right.
that disassociation from it in that way is great, because then it's, you know, we all go through stuff. I'm having a bad hair day. It's not my hair is horrible, I hate it, my life is over. You know, it isn't that. You know what I mean? And truly, that detachment is lovely. Sometimes we look at um, you know, many Asians appear to not have emotions. You know, they're sort of neutral about everything.
Mhm.
Ha ha, I'm really happy. Oh boo, I'm really sad. And the face doesn't change. And I'm so, you know, and you think, what? Don't you feel? You know, where's the Italians? Oh my God, you know, all the Latin
Yeah.
people, they feel everything and their emotions are on their shoulder. But everybody is so very different. But in many ways, the philosophy behind a lot of this Asian monotone or neutrality is that these emotions often color the truth. If I look at that tree and I say, I don't like that tree because it creates leaves and I have to rake it up, or I do like that tree because it creates shade and I can sit under it. I mean, the tree is the tree. It's going to drop leaves. It's going to not. It's going to do what it's going to do. Who
Right.
cares whether you like it or you don't like it, you know? And when we can take some of that out of the picture, then we can see the tree for the tree. We can appreciate things for what they are rather than, well, here's how I feel about it. And, you know, it's all about me, by the way. And you're either useless or you're, you
Right.
know, you know, so.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. So, let's talk about healing a little bit. So, if we understand, or actually, let me back up. So, you mentioned those three levels of energy, and as we become aware of them, can people then begin to become aware of what is blocked, or at which level? I mean, I think they can. And you look
Yes,
excited.
absolutely. Absolutely. So in working with the healing, the you know, let's say the undercurrent behind everything is to be able to tap into that Shen. Like you said, you get these voices, you hear this, and then you listen.
Mhm.
That is incredible because, as I said, most folks don't. So the big hit to me in IQM, this integrative quantum
Mhm.
medicine, is to learn about that voice, how to access that voice, how to know if you should listen to it or not. And you know, and then you've got the three treasures. You've got the three treasures.
Right.
The idea behind the healing is often the illness will manifest in the physical so that we pay attention to what the
Mhm.
heck has been blocking you all this time.
Right.
You know, many times we take things for granted. You can, for example, be in a rotten relationship for a long time and you swallow it and you swallow it and you take it and you go, no, that's okay. I can deal with it. No, that's fine. You know, he's just lying. You deal with it and deal with it and deal with it until something happens, like
Mhm.
you suddenly find you've got cancer or you've got liver issues or you know, your throat is locked up because you're not speaking your truth. So
Mhm.
all of these metaphors for
Right.
what you're experiencing and what you're dealing with, by not addressing the energy, they'll land in the physical, because all this energetic stuff is 7 times more powerful. All this stuff that goes on 7 times more powerful than the physical. It'll take it over.
Mhm.
If you can find those source elements that have created the illness, and you can with IQM, and that's the magic of it, is that you can address it. When you address it, when you find it, it transforms instantaneously, because once the Shen knows what it is, it knows how to transform it, which then transforms the physical. And then all of a sudden the tumor's gone. All of a sudden, the acid reflux is gone. All of a sudden, the allergies are gone. All of a sudden, all this stuff that really comes from the chi being blocked somehow from something, some kind of energy, it transforms. And you know what the energy is. This isn't a crapshoot. You're not guessing. It is, again, tapping into that knowing. And when you know, I mean, it's like when you know something, it's like, oh my gosh, it's peaceful. You know, it gets peaceful up here rather than I wonder, who can I call? Let me call somebody. Let me get another exam and another. Let me go to a specialist. What do you think? What do you think? Let me read on the internet. You know, but when you know, it's, and it's always going to be one of those when you realize the truth. You're like, I could have had a V8. You know, one of those. Oh, of course. What was I thinking? You know, or
So
what wasn't I thinking?
Let me ask you, because that brought to me a question about genetics, right? And now I love the work of Bruce Lipton and epigenetics, but you know, a lot of people would ask, well, that's all nice and good what you're saying, but geneticists tell us that, you know, if it's in your genes, then you're predisposed to this, and so you're supposed to get it, and you can't fix that. So go.
Well, you know, there are many theories that have come and gone in over the decades, over the centuries. You know, 200-year-old Western medicine is finally acknowledging 4,000-year-old Eastern medicine. Isn't that lovely? How very kind.
Yeah.
But understanding that the genetics of a cell composition is not married to that predisposition in as much as it is supported by lifestyle, belief systems, environment. You know, if a family eats the same food, grows up in the same, has the same philosophical beliefs and religious beliefs, those things, the collective conscious, probably above all, is more influential than anything you can do cellularly. When you see what some people can do to their bodies and survive, and you see what others, they prick their finger and they drop dead because their belief is so deeply ingrained in a particular way of thinking. And my mother said that, and my mother's mother, and my aunt, and everybody in my family, we all know that. Of course, it's happened already. You didn't even have to have it. It's done. It's done because you've committed, you know, you've committed to it by having that last name. So in that way, that's how genetics play. But in support of Bruce Lipton's work, when you see how the influence of a cell is on the cell, the external part of the cell, not the core of it, and the influence of the fight or flight or survival or defense mode of a cell is going to be what is imposed upon it by environment, by situation. That all transforms. And then if somebody, I mean, you know, what is placebo then? Placebo is, and people say, oh, well, you know, well, that's only placebo. Well, what the hell? If somebody can believe and can change their, oh my God, power to the placebo, right? Power to the placebo.
Wouldn't placebo be better than taking chemicals? I mean, just take a sugar pill and get better.
Absolutely. Or you know what I'm saying? So here's the bit with the IQM stuff is it is not placebo in that we heal animals. And we do this work remotely. So I have healed, or I should say, I have participated in the healing of, because it's the animal who heals himself. You know, llamas at a distance, dogs, cats, fish, sheep, you know, and the llama was not holding the phone, okay? And neither was the dog or the cat. And they didn't hear this explanation. They didn't tune in. They didn't read my website, but they got it. They got it because working on this level of energy is so profound that those profound beings, the animals on this planet, are so tuned in. They get it. They get it. They know it. They transform instantaneously. You know, it's so funny because we talk about our animals in the third person as they're sitting in front of us, as if they don't know. Oh, he's just such an irritating dog. He just barks all the time. I don't know why he barks. I mean, I have no idea. The dog's looking at me, moron. I've been barking because there are spirits right around the house, and you're looking at me. Do you realize I understand you? Stop giving me that kibble. Give me some of the steak you're eating. Who are you? How did I get this dumb person? What is it in my karma? I mean, these animals are just, they get it. I have a client who has 3 cats. It's a husband and wife. The cats belong to the husband. The wife, the cats don't like the wife. The cats will walk by the wife and go, and the wife's like, oh my God, I even feed them. They just don't like her. But when we have a session, the cats come into the room. They'll sit next to her on the couch. They'll even sit on her lap. And she's going, oh my God, you're not going to believe this, Louise. The cats are here again. They're on my lap. And they sit there. They get the session. They get the energy work. When I'm done, as soon as I say, I'm done, how are you feeling? She goes, oh, I feel great. The cats jump off her lap. They walk away. And they turn around, look at her, and they go, amazing.
Funny.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I've healed animals in different countries. And when I go to that country, if the client comes to a workshop or somehow I get to see them in person, their animal will come running to me, knowing that, hey, it's you. Thanks. Good to see you. And I'm like, oh, who is that? And they go, that's the one. I have no recognition because I'm not quite as swift as they are, but
right. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is wonderful. So remote healing. So again, the implications are that if we are in this sort of network of energy, and it's really, there is no time to it, there is no space to it, it just is, then truly there are no limitations in how we can heal or how we can affect each other. And we're, in fact, we are very interconnected. And
absolutely.
So, yeah, let's talk about healing, or how, I guess, give us a little bit of a taste of what you do with people too.
Sure. So with this idea of remote healing, it is exactly what you said. Time, space, distance have no bearing on the efficacy of the healing work because it's immediate. What we have thought of, what our little minds wrap ourselves around the idea of time and space, I've had these pains for years. You can't disappear immediately. Well, of course it can. Absolutely. Because our potential, our ability to transform is so profound and so immediate and so spontaneous that what often keeps our ailment is our deep belief in it. If you take a look at the ability for our body to reconstruct itself continuously, different aspects of the body regenerate new cells within days, within hours, within minutes, within a couple of months. And if you look at all the different specifics of what it is, it's fascinating, but you realize that every 4 to 5 years, you have an entirely new body. I mean, all the cells don't die at once. The liver takes a certain amount of time to reconstruct. And I've got statistics, they're online. You can look it up, and you'll find it fascinating. Red blood cells reproducing themselves, et cetera, white blood cells in 24 hours. It's fascinating. So for someone to hang on to a chronic disease, you have to really believe in it. Every 4 to 5 years, we have entirely new cells throughout our body. And if we didn't subscribe so deeply to the idea that everything's going to fall, gravity's going to win, I'm going to get old, I'm going to look like crap, we would not succumb to all of this. But our minds, 7 times more powerful than the chi, 49 times more powerful than the physical, the chi, are incredible in what it can do. And it's not just the conscious mind, it's the knowing, because the conscious mind has been told a lot of things. The conscious
Right.
mind rolls its eyes, well, that can't be, and of course, da 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 da, you know. But it's the knowing mind that says, "Are you serious? You really believe in that?" You know, I wish you'd get with the program. You know, come join us up here where the real knowledge is, where the real knowing is,
Right.
and we're able to transform with the idea of this whole quantum concept.
Mm-hmm.
In the education growing up in my day, you know, and I'm 99, so I don't look so bad for 99. That's what I'm telling you. This stuff really works. We we believe in the whole Newtonian thing, right? Everything
Right.
is atoms. Everything you can see all around. This is it. What you see is what you get. There's nothing else. Well, stepping into the world of the quantum,
Mm-hmm.
we understand that everything that you can see, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything around us, all this physical mass, only comprises 10% of the mass of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Only 10%. Where is the other 90%? It's all quantum particles,
Yep.
right? And 10,000 neutrinos go through you every second. Those are, we can't even see them, right?
Right.
1 million weakly interactive massive particles. You know, quantum physicists are jokers, right? WIMPs. The acronym is WIMPs, right? So 1 million WIMPs go through a thumbnail portion of you every second. So we are blending into each other continuously.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that I don't suddenly melt into the person sitting next to me? And that is your chi. That is your energy field. That is your uniqueness. This is you somehow maintaining your solidarity from
Mm-hmm.
someone else. But knowing how vulnerable and how interconnected we are, indeed, the idea of, oh, there's a flu going around and everybody catches the flu. There's allergy season and everybody gets allergies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a new disease in town and everybody's worried they're going to get it. Right? This
Yeah.
is that power
Mm-hmm.
of the mind and manifesting that which we perceive, that which we believe. On that feelingful quantum level, have you ever walked by somebody and you go, oh my God, it just gave me the creeps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he
Mm-hmm.
passed right through you. He passed
Mm-hmm.
right through you. So if we are fearful of everything, we're kind of locked up, right? And then if something passes through us, that energy could get locked into you. Now,
Right.
if you're free and easy and you're open, that energy will go right through. You'll go, ooh, shudder, shudder, and you move right on. And that energy keeps on going. I don't want anybody else's energy. I don't care if it's good. I don't care what it is. It's enough I got to deal with my own. I need somebody else. Hallelujah. Right?
You know, it's interesting what you were just saying. Bruce Lipton talks about the fact that you could be in the middle of an epidemic of, you know, of grandiose proportions and not catch it. That there
Absolutely.
is absolutely no guarantee that just because it's going around, you're going to get it.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
this is the same thing that happens with the flu shots. That
Yes.
everybody says, well, the flu is coming. Come on, let's all line up and, you know, shoot ourselves with the flu. Yeah, that if you have
Yeah.
this, I believe that you can walk through
Yes.
anything and not
Yes.
be affected by it.
Yes, absolutely. You know, people are so afraid of being exposed to this, that, and the other. If you live in a metropolis, if you have ever
Mhm.
been to an airport, if you ever caught public transit, if you've ever gone outside of your house, you are exposed to more antigens and germs and foreign this, that, than you could even count. But you
Right.
don't know it. And the ignorance is bliss, because if you really were
Mhm.
possibly affected by all of it, you'd be dead. You'd be
Mhm.
absolutely dead. You know,
Right.
people are so afraid, and there's really nothing to fear but the propaganda of it. It's,
Mhm.
you know, the only thing you got to be afraid of is that sometimes you're if you're too smart and you start to research these things, you become much more vulnerable. I have a lot of doctor clients who find that their knowing too much undoes them.
Right,
They
right.
become sick because they know too much. Whereas, you know, the people who are working for them in their houses, they don't know that this disease this guy has is highly contagious. They've never heard of it. They can't spell it. They don't even speak the same language, so they'll never get it. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, so what just came to me is that, do you have advice for people? Because, we grew up in the kind of old energy. We grew up in that belief that we are just it. We are self-contained, and, we are our own person. So we do get fearful sometimes. There are certain things that we, if not like full-blown fear, then at least a little bit of anxiety about getting something. So do you have any suggestion for how people can how we all can calm ourselves down, how we can let go of that so we can revitalize our chi or rebalance it?
So, in the irony of it is, as you say, we all think that we are just this, and this is just me. But there's great power in that. There is great power in this sovereignty and going, I am me. I am this container.
Right.
Oh, I don't do that disease. That doesn't fit in with my wardrobe. I don't have an outfit and a pair of shoes for that disease, so I'm not doing it. Okay, that's going to interrupt my day. No, I don't do that one either. The idea of being fearless, and not stupid, not ignorant. You don't want to be an ostrich and pretend, no, nothing's happening in the world. We can't do that. You want to be informed, but you don't want to buy into the fear base. And this is a lot of the tone of where the world is right now. There's a lot of information being generated that is continually building fear in all of us. And by allowing the fear to enter, we make ourselves vulnerable. But what are we afraid of? Are we afraid that we're going to be weak? Well, you will if you buy into it. Are we afraid we're going to die? I got news for you. I don't know anybody who got out. Yet it's you will eventually. Are we afraid that we're going to be miserable? You're miserable right now worrying about it. Let it go. Let it go. Be as healthy as you can. Do the best you can. Don't eat out of fear. I mean, this is what we're doing now. We're afraid to eat anything. I can't eat that because it has blah, blah. It's got gluten, and that's got sugar, and that's animal, and then what was that? That's soy now.
Absolutely.
I want to hand somebody, you want to hand somebody an empty plate and go, look, it's gluten-free, vegetarian, there's no calories, you're safe. And you go, there's nothing on the plate. Correct. Right. And the thing is, by the time you get to be an adult, you pretty much know better. I mean, kids even know better. They know the difference between eating a candy bar and a piece of broccoli. They know better, but they do it anyway. You know better. Should you have a glass of water or a Coca-Cola? You know better, but you do it anyway. You're going to pay the piper, or maybe not, or maybe not. I mean, there was this woman in Kauai, and her name escapes me, but she and she was not of a native descent. She was a Caucasian. So sometimes you go, wow, those brown people, they can survive anything. No, she was a Caucasian, and she was something like in her 90s and thriving. She played 2 rounds of golf every week. She would bring food to the old people in the senior citizen homes because that gave her something to do. She had quit smoking and drinking when she was in her 80s. When she got into her 90s, she picked up drinking again because what the heck. Everybody wanted to, and she didn't like hanging around with people her age because they had nothing but complaints. She didn't even like hanging around with the 50-year-olds because they had complaints and she had nothing to contribute to the conversation. So, we don't have to buy into any of the paradigms we don't want to. I
Absolutely.
started surfing at 50. Okay. I
Mhm.
started at 50. So I've been surfing for 1 year now, like, right. But that's what I'm saying, to be fearful and to buy into old adages and things that don't serve us, that allow us to have excuses to be weak. Don't do it. Life is too precious. This is way too much fun. It is way too much fun to be stuck in things that are going to make you unhappy. And that's the beauty of
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
older. The beauty of getting
Yeah.
older truly is the stuff that used to worry me in years ago. Don't worry me anymore.
Yeah, so Louise, I wanted to ask you before we wrap up, I want to ask you about the word wellness. And what does wellness mean to you? Because um, I think it's a very multifaceted thing. And so I just wanted to see what idea should people have of what wellness means to them?
I think that's an absolutely brilliant question that no
Well,
one has
I'm
ever
full of
asked me
brilliant
that.
questions.
Yes, you are, my dear. Yes, you are, my dear.
Oh,
And
you're
fed
funny.
to you by your Shen, and you pay attention to it. So even more so, even more
Oh,
so. That's wellness. The fact that you can sit there and laugh. I mean, the
right,
fact that you can find the joy in life. Wellness doesn't mean you have to be absolutely in top shape and physically fit,
right.
and your weight has to be perfect and your hair has to look good, and you figured out the right creams for nighttime and all that. You don't have, no, that isn't. And I only eat the best food of the blah blah.
Mhm,
It's to live a fearless life. It is okay for you to have a Coke if you want a Coke. And it is
mhm,
also okay for you to only eat the foods that you like, that make you happy, and that you have a health consciousness about it. Wellness is wellness in here, in your heart. Wellness is being able to take a deep breath and you feel good about it. Or if you're unable to take a deep breath, you're okay with that. Wellness
right.
is the peace of mind. That's all it is. I know so many people who are what we would consider handicapped, and they are far more in a state of wellness than the ones who have all their faculties, all the money, all the transportation, all the this, that, and the other. They have everything that you would wish you would have, but they are not well. They are
Mhm,
truly not well, right?
right. Yeah.
Wellness is being able to smile like you're smiling right now. Wellness is, that's wellness. That is wellness. And we can be well even when we're not well. We
Right.
can be well when we're not well. And that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
wellness. It is,
That is.
there's no one way. It's if you're smiling in your heart and you're well. You are well, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think we wish all our listeners and viewers just to be well and to,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Louise, this was just delicious. Thank you so much. I loved it. I loved having this
Thank you.
conversation with you. And oh my
Thank
goodness. And
you.
I think my dog is trying, and my son are trying to get in, and I can hear them scratching at the door.
See, they know. They know.
They want all this, fun and positive energy in their life too.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
So thank you
Oh,
so much for everything you do, for the healing that you bring to this planet. And would you like to
thank you.
tell what you're up to these days? Tell our viewers. I know you do trainings and workshops, and obviously you teach um, IQM. Would you like
Yes.
to share any of
Yes.
that?
Yes, thank you. So this upcoming fall, there'll be a series of IQM Level 1 and Level 2 seminars. Starting in Honolulu on October 7th and 8th, there'll be a Level 1 training. And the following weekend on October 14th and 15th, there'll be a Level 2. It's on my website, taoenergy.com, taoenergy.com. And there is then on November 2nd and 3rd in Ibiza, Spain, a level 1 training. And the 11th and 12th of November, there'll be a level 2 also in Ibiza. Then in London on November 18th and 19th, there'll be a level 1 there. I will be in those countries as well. I'll also be in Geneva. So if you check my website and sign up for the newsletter and get on the email list, then you'll be kept apprised of everything. On the first Saturday of the month, I have a free conference call at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's on the website, so you can get the phone number and the passcode. And please join in. You can experience IQM live. I will do a healing live on the phone for those who are in need, and you just have an opportunity to disclose your ailments and get a good zap. And and then I'd have energy transmissions and all kinds of things. My desire, much like yours, is to have people understand energy, to have people empowered, to have people sovereign, to be able to take care of themselves, especially in these crazy times when we're not sure what's going on. But to be able to know what's happening in your body, in your mind, in your emotional being, to know this stuff is extraordinary. It's then, you're empowered. Then Then it's all good. Then you're well. You're well. Yeah.
Let's end on that. It's all good.
Indeed. And it's easier done than said.
Yeah, that's perfect. Please, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha, everyone. Aloha. Thank you.